If someone asks you, where does the real strength lie in speaking or in staying silent? What would your answer be? Most people think strength lies in words. But the truth is, the deepest things are often said without speaking. Some people don't control others by talking, but by their silence. They say nothing, yet people do exactly what they want. Hello friends, welcome to your channel, The Psychology of Pressure. Today we're going to talk about that invisible power, silent manipulation, the art of controlling minds without words. How do people use their gaze, their gestures, and their silence to steer your mind? And most importantly, how can you protect yourself from this psychological game? So let's dive into the depths of this silence, where every quiet moment hides a voice. We often believe that strength belongs to the one who speaks. But the real strength lies with the person who shakes others' thoughts with their silence. In a room of 10 people, the one who talks the most grabs attention, but the one who stays silent carves a place in people's thoughts. People start wondering what could they be thinking, and that's where the control begins. Many times when someone stays silent, our brain starts assigning meaning to that silence. We wonder, are they upset? Did I say something wrong? In that curiosity, we begin adjusting our behavior to match theirs. They didn't say a word, but the manipulation has already started inside us. Let me share a story. In a small town, there was a guy named Arjun. He was very smart, but had a quiet nature. One day, a new manager named Vishal joined his company. For the first few days, Vishal didn't talk much to anyone. He would just observe, give a slight smile, and respond with a simple or okay. Slowly, the entire team started revolving around him. People would think, what's the boss thinking? Did I do a good job? Even those who were once confident started hesitating before speaking. Arjun noticed that Vishal was controlling everyone's behavior without saying much. In reality, Vishal was keeping people in uncertainty. No one could tell if he was pleased or upset. This uncertainty creates insecurity in people, and when someone feels insecure, they become easy to influence. In other words, Vishal's silence was his greatest strength. Silence often makes more noise than words because you can challenge words, but you can't challenge silence. And this silence slowly turns into a weapon that impacts the other person's thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Now let's understand how this silence works. When someone looks into your eyes and says nothing, your subconscious mind starts searching for the meaning behind that gaze. If their expression is neutral, your brain begins assuming things on its own. It thinks, maybe they're upset. Maybe I'm wrong. This is where eye contact manipulation begins. Then comes the pause technique. When someone deliberately pauses during a conversation, they leave you in silence. And in that discomfort, you keep talking. Many interrogators or sales experts use this technique. The more you try to fill that uncomfortable silence, the more control you lose. Next is mirroring. When someone copies your gestures or tone laughs when you laugh, mimics your body posture, your brain starts feeling that they're like you, and you begin trusting them. They break through your mental walls without saying a word. Some people even use a poker face. They maintain a neutral expression in every situation, leaving you wondering what they're thinking. That uncertainty steals your mental peace, and when your mind isn't calm, manipulation becomes easy. Sometimes silent manipulation goes even deeper. For example, when someone is upset with you and stops talking, they ignore you and you start breaking inside. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? How do I fix it? They haven't said anything, but they've controlled you by making you feel guilty. This is called emotional silent control. It's more dangerous than any shouting because it creates guilt, fear, and insecurity all at once. There's a story from the time of Buddha. A man came to him and hurled insults. Buddha stayed calm. When the man asked, "Why aren't you responding?" Buddha smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you don't accept it, who does it stay with?" The man replied, "The one who offered it." Buddha said, "Then I'm not accepting your words." In other words, silence is not just a tool for control, but also the greatest means to protect yourself. Now the question is, what do we do when someone tries to manipulate us this way? First, recognize the pattern. If someone repeatedly makes you feel guilty or confused, understand that their silence is a weapon. Second, don't assign meaning to every silence. Sometimes people are quiet not because they're superior, but because they have nothing to say. Third, if someone creates a pause, stay silent too. Let them feel uncomfortable in that silence. The power balance will shift on its own. Fourth, always trust facts, not emotions, because manipulators target your emotions. And finally, know your emotional triggers, because that's where the strings of control are pulled. In this entire world, the most dangerous weapon is not a sound, but silence, because sound wakes you up, but silence binds you from within. Those who don't understand the meaning of silence feel it as fear, and those who understand it rise above others' games. So, the next time someone tries to unsettle you with their silence, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this my emotion, or is it someone else's game? Silence is strength, as long as it's under your control. But if someone else's silence starts driving you, then know the game has begun. Now is the time to understand silence, not fear it, or get trapped in its web. Because true freedom comes when you become the master of your own thoughts, and no one can dictate your direction without speaking. Friends, if today's story has made you think, if you've now understood that silence is not just the absence of sound, but a psychological power, then remember no one can turn your silence into a weapon anymore. Every time someone tries to control you with their silence, this understanding within you will stop them. Because the person who understands the meaning of silence cannot be manipulated by anyone. If you liked this video, write just one thing in the comments. Now I understand silence. This won't just be a line. It will be the mark of your awakened mind. And yes, in the next video, we'll learn about the reverse mind control formula, how to break others' psychological traps and become the master of your own mind. Until then, stay calm, stay aware, and make your silence your strength.